Good morning from the GIO Stadium in Canberra, where tomorrow night the Brumbies welcome the Lions for their penultimate tour match before the Test Series. Very strong Lions team in town, and they've just completed training. The kickers were out doing work with Johnny Sexton, including Owen Sexton, launching a really strong defence of Andy Farrell's decision to call up his son Owen in the media, and you'll see all of that on the Irish Independent website across the day. So, what are the big talking points ahead of tomorrow's game? Well, the Brumbies traditionally have been very strong against the Lions, but Stephen Larkham was without a big contingent out of his Wallabies. And while they are probably the strongest, they are the strongest of the Australian Super Rugby sides, they're not going to be at their strongest, whereas the Lions have picked a really, really formidable looking team, very close to what we think Andy Farrell is looking at for that first test. But there are key positions still up for grabs. What are those? Well, I think Tyke Furlong needs a big game. You got a really endorsement from Andy Farrell last night. If he nails his role here tomorrow night, if he plays well against the Brumbies, he'll be locked in. On the other side of the scrum, Ellis Genge, if he has a big performance, he's definitely stealing a march on Andrew Porter, but we know how good Andrew Porter is. He's on the bench. He'll come off the bench and possibly play against an AUNZ selection. It's looking very strong on Saturday. So he still has a chance to impress and force his way in. Joe McCartney, if he plays well tomorrow night, his partnership with Maro Itoje will look really, really strong and really like the favourites for the starting test 4 or 5 jersey. But Tyke Bird, who plays on Saturday, still has a role to play. Tom Curry's in the number 7 jersey, having played 6 previously on tour. But that back row really looks open in terms of test selection. Josh Van der Fleer, Jack Morgan, Henry Pollock and Van der Fleer on the bench tomorrow night all have a chance to come in. 9-10 looks pretty locked down. Owen Farrell, yes, he may come into test selection next week. He will come in for test selection next week. But even Johnny Sexton there, talking more about him as a number 12, somebody to play alongside the playmakers. Those two, Van der Fleer and Russell, look locked in. The centres, wide open. The Scots did well on Saturday up in Sydney. They've interchanged them. It's the 5th partnership we've seen on this tour, including that Argentina game before they came over. But if Onyaki and Gary Reynolds play well, it's a massive opportunity for them to kind of say, look, we're an established partnership. We're brilliant defensively. We're brilliant in attack. We give the team such solidity. What an outball for Finn Russell to have to give it to Onyaki and go forward. Gary Reynolds so good at that defensive decision-making, coming out of the line and making big hits. So they've got a big chance. But again, on Saturday, we'll probably see the 2 Scots go again. That'll be their second time playing together on tour. They played together at Glasgow. They played together for Scotland. Both really good players as well. That one still isn't nailed down. Back 3, well, Tommy Freeman has a huge opportunity with Matt Hansen on the bench. Maybe we'll get 20 minutes to come in and affect the game. It depends on where he comes into the game, because Blair Kinghorn played the whole 80 minutes on Saturday, and he's backing up at fullback, having moved there once Hugo Keenan went off the other day. Kinghorn was there doing some kicking. That's another string to his bow. It sounds like and looks like that if he plays well, he'll probably get that number 15 jersey. But again, Keenan will have an opportunity to play better, having struggled against the Barclays on his comeback game last Saturday. So there's still lots of selection decisions up for grabs, albeit this does look like a very formidable line side, one that definitely could be the bones of the side that Andy Farrell puts out against Joe Schmidt's Wallabies. Schmidt, he's on lunch in Canberra as we speak. Big Brumbies fundraiser, loads of the heroes of 01. Stephen Larkham is there, George Gregan is there. I spoke to Owen Finnegan. We'll have a piece in the Irish Independent in the next couple of days with him. Andy Friend, the former Connacht coach, was there. All the big hitters from the local area. It's a proud rugby area, proud rugby club. There's got the Gregan-Larkham stand behind me. Canberra, all the rest of Australia's eyes will be on State of Origin, the massive rugby league decider that's happening up in Sydney on Wednesday night. But here in Canberra, this is a big deal. They nearly beat the Lions in 01. The Lions had needed a Matt Dawson kick to win it at the death. They did beat the Lions here in 2013, albeit very much a midweek side during the Test series. And they're gunning for the Lions here. But the Lions have sent out their big guns in response, and we're expecting a big performance. Probably the most cohesive, strongest performance from Andy Farrell's side since they went on tour. As they deliver that, then they'll move down the road to Adelaide and on to Brisbane for the first test with lots of confidence.